typical area. What we have? Well, we have the kinematics of the movement. This is a really important thing. This is the TF adaptive motor. It has several programs. You can use gauge-guided drills, you can use TF adaptive, you can use light speed, and you can use LA axis in their programs. So let's take a look about the movement in the TF adaptation. The first one is the movement without load. The first movement in the TF adaptive motion is 600 degrees clockwise and the movement without load. This is the real adaptive motion without load. It moves 600 degrees clockwise, stops 1 microsecond, and starts again 600 degrees to the right. The adaptive motion with load. In this case, the file is going to rotate 370 degrees to the right. And then we are going to have a counterclockwise motion. This varies between 0 and 50 degrees. With a severe curvature, the movement is going to be 370 degrees to the right and 2 degrees to the left. With a mild curvature, the file is going to rotate 370 degrees to the right and 40 degrees to the left. With a moderate curvature, the motor is going to rotate 370 to the right and 30 degrees to the left. This variation happens without being noted by the clinician because the motor has an internal chip that constantly receives a feedback from the file that indicates the type of movement that should be used. Okay, we are going to talk about the TF adaptive file. In this video, I want to show you how effective the file cuts a composite resin block. This is the only file in the market that cuts not only using the end of the file, but also using the lateral edges. In this workflow, I want to show you that at the very beginning, we are going to use 3 hand files. The number 15 file is going to determine which sequence we are going to use. If the number 15 file reaches the end of the canal really easy, we are going to use the ML sequence. If the number 15 struggles in reaching the end of the canal, we are going to use the small canal sequence. We have this sequence. So in the small canal, the green one is called SM1, it's a 2004. The SM2 is yellow, there is a 2506, and the SM3, the red with one band, is number 35.04. In the medium large sequence that is identified but 2 round color, green, yellow, or red, the ML1 is a 2508, the ML2 is a 3506, and the ML3 is a 5004. The TF adaptive files has 2 different lengths. The first one is the 23. There's no 21, no 25, so we have one lane 23, and the other lane is 27 millimeters. This is a really good thing working in the back part of the mouth called the upper jaw, like first and second molar, and the second and the third molar in the lower jaw. We are going to talk in this moment about this paper called the cyclic fatigue resistance of 3 different nitride reciprocating instruments in artificial canals. I want to say thank you to Oscar for sharing with me the pictures. Thank you, David Jaramillo. And thank you, Gianluca Plotino, for sharing this article with me. So, what we have in this article, in this paper, in this article found that the cyclic fatigue resistance of reciproc R25 and TF adaptive ML1 was significantly higher than the Way1 primary. The results showed no statistically significant difference between TF adaptive and reciproc. The results of this study shows that the CFR of reciproc R25 and the TF adaptive ML1 was significantly higher than the Way1 primary. Basically, this study shows that the number of rotations are higher in the TF adaptive by 8 times, which means that the TF adaptive is going to resist more rotations inside of the canal. This is the image of a triangular cross-section of the TF adaptive file. This property, thermal treatment, controls the phase of the metal to improve its mechanical properties. That improves the flexibility and the resiliency of the instrument. The twisted of the TF is to maintain the grain structure. By maintaining the grain structure, we avoid creating micro cracks on these instruments because they are twisted, not grinded. We are going to see this step by step how to use it, the instrument. The first step is create a glide path. For this purpose, we are going to use the M4 contraangle. The M4 contraangle moves 30 degrees to the right and 30 degrees to the left in really fast motion, close to 4,000 RPMs. You can see how the contraangle grasps the hand file. We are going to start using the K file number 08 until it reaches the working length. Then we irrigate to flush the debris from the canal. Next, we use the number 10 K file again until we reach the working length. Finally, we are going to use a number 15 K files. Life is like an endodontics. Patient moves our life. So I have two patients in my life. First, my family, Diego and Fanny, and then the endo. I want to say thank you to my wife for being a great support and a great partner in my life. And thank you to Diego for teaching me that the simple things are the best things in life. Continue with our topic. We are going to talk about the sequence of the files. Contrary to all the ISO standardizations, the nomenclature of the TF adaptive files do not meet the ISO standardization. They are based on the colors of traffic lights. The green that we have, and that means continue, they have two greens in the sequence. The first one is the SM1 for the small sequence. This is a 2004, or in the medium large is going to be a 2508. Then we are going to make the irrigation with your sodium hypochlorite, and you are going to confirm the glide path with the number 15 hand file. The yellow light signifies continue with precaution or stop. In my personal opinion, the small sequence 2506 is a really small file to finish the canal preparation. The main cause is that the needle of the endoback need at least a number 32 file. So I suggest to my students to always finish with an SM3. Then we use the irrigation again. We confirm the glide path with the K file number 15. And finally, we arrive to the red light. That the red light indicates you need to stop. I'm going to show you some clinical cases. Well, always you need to finish your root canal treatment irrigating with sodium hypochlorite and EDTA at the 17%. I really recommended that. Don't forget to confirm the glide path. maintains the curvature really good. Irrigation all the time. Confirm the glide path. It looks really easy, don't you? Benefits of the adaptive technology: elimination of the screwing effect. You are not going to feel that you are going too deep with that horrible feeling, the screwing effect. One more, less cyclic fatigue. lower risk of fracture because of the torsional stress. We are going to share with you this case. For example, I was using on the distal canal the ProTaper SX, and it broke in the distal canal. Then I bypassed it by the hand file, and I retook the canal with the ProTaper S1, and it broke again. So at this moment I had a problem. I had to separate instruments in the same canal, and I had to remove it. So I removed the first one. I have to put my hands to work. I removed the second one, and finally I've obtained the result using the TF adaptive file. After I just start analyze the case, I realized the distal root was the easiest to prepare. What is going to happen if I use the ProTaper in the mesial canal? Benefits of the adaptive technology: maintains the original shape of the canal. This is a lower canine with two roots. I uses a small sequence of the TF adaptive to shape the canals. You can see there's a two-rooted lower canine. In this 3D image, we can imagine what the canal system looks with the two different roots and accessory canal in the middle of the tooth. Another view of the same tooth, so you can imagine how hard it was to treat this case. Okay, we have this another paper. It's called Microcomputer Tomographic Evaluation of Canal Transportation Instrumented by Different Kinematics Rotary Nickel Titanium Instruments. What they found in conclusion is, within the limits of this study, the new TF adaptive system maintained the original canal anatomy better, with less modification of the canal curvature when compared with the wave 1 and reciproc systems. Further investigations are needed to understand whether the better performance of the instrument may be attributed to the adaptive motion, or the section design, or the higher flexibility of the TF adaptive files. This is a lower molar with a very abrupt curve in the distal canal. So I was doing my protocol using establish my glide path with M4 using the file number 8, number 10, and number 15, and then I start to use my small procedure package. This is going to be SM1, SM2, and SM3. When I was doing the adjusting of my gutta percha cone, I can figure out how abrupt is the curve and the distal canal. After using TF adaptive to prepare, I check the X-ray image, and I realized how difficult it was for the file to shape the abrupt curve and maintain the original shape of the canal. This is another view of that distal canal, so you can see how the real anatomy is maintained after the preparation using TF adaptive. This is the final result. You can see the obturation and the distal and the mesials too. So I was very satisfied with the final result of this treatment. Another benefit of the adaptive technology is equal or less microcracks than rotary instruments. That means that the possibility of have a cracked tooth is lower using that technology. This is a very important treatment that I did. It was my first time using the TF adaptive system. This patient is a very important person in my life. He is my cousin and he's an engineer who helps me fix problems in my office and never charges me. He had this crown recently placed on this maxillary molar. He started feeling lingering pain that incremented as time passed until the pain became unbearable. At this point, we decided to start a root canal. When I started the access, I found a pulp stone that I removed with an ultrasonics. At this point, I was able to remove the stone. First of all, I was very surprised that the tooth had two distobucal canals. I started to search for the remaining canals and later found two more mesiobuccal canals for a total of 5. Also, to my surprise, the instrument came out very deformed after the first insertion. This is what the file looked like. At this point, I did not take working length X-ray. I finished obturating the canals. We have two distobucals and the palatal. In this another view, we can see one mesiobuccal, and here we can see the palatal and the MB2. My first impression was that the instrument was not very good. To me, it seemed like it was very fragile to do the extreme deformation of the file. After seeing the final obturation, I realized that the file worked great due to the fact that there weren't any separated instrument inside the canals of this very complicated case. As you can see, these files have two colored rings that indicates they are the ML sequence. Let's take a look to another case. This is a second maxillary molar with an acute pulpitis. I always use the operatory microscope with my cases. This is very important to use magnification because at least 50% of the second maxillary molars have two mesiobuccal canals. You can see in this image the champagne bubbles coming out from the vital tissue in the MB1. I found all four canals. They were prepared with the SM at the buccal canals and the ML sequence of the distal canal. I use for the buccals the SM3 and for the palatal the ML3. I finish my obturation with the continuous wave technique using the elements-free obturation unit. This is the final view of the obturation, so we can figure out there's the four canals right there. And here we can see the final X-rays showing the four canals. The MB1, MB2, the palatal, and the distal buccal. Not everything is as easy as a Sunday morning. This system also has some problems. The problems are usually because of the clinician, and they can be fixed if they are found early. Let's see how we can fix them. The first problem that we can find is when the file get coiled, like this example. The coil tip is a warning that there is an excessive apical engagement or too much applied apical pressure, but this is a safety feature because the files tell us that if we don't stop, it's going to break. This is another example and how it looks like. The solution for this problem is to improve the glide path, as my friend Sergio Rosler from Buenos Aires, Argentina said. We call it teaching file because the file teach us to control the apical pressure and how much we force the instrument inside the canal. The TF can show unique tendency to coil when the tip is blocked as a result of an improper clinical use. These finds should be considered as a safety feature which absorbs stress, prevents failure, and informs the dentist where the problem is located. The second problem is the unwinding. The spirals warm when the instrument is under too much pressure, especially in the D3 and the D4 of his working length. The deformation in the middle of the cutting blade is due to much coronal engagement. Somebody likes to tell this taper lock. What is the solution for this problem? We need to improve the coronal flare. And how we are going to do this? Well, what I do every time is I use the siren and the motor in the normal TF function at 500 RPM and a 400 torque. It's going to be grams centimeters. I use the normal contraangle. This is the contraangle that they are already used all the time. And this is the file that I use it. This is the 01 TF. The tip is the number 25, taper 10. So the tip is a 25 and the file is that. Improving the coronal flare, I frequently avoid this kind of situations where the file is stretched out in the D4 level. In this image, we can observe how the file suffered both defects, coiling and unwinding. The advantage of this file is that before it separates inside the canal, it gives you a warning with a visual effect in the instrument. The TF adaptive files come in a kit that includes 3 manual files, number 8, number 10, and number 15, and 3 rotatory files, the green, the yellow, and the red. The rotary files come in 2 lengths, 27 and 23 millimeters, and all the manual files are 25 millimeters. I feel very blessed to work with this team of dentists called Da Vinci's Dental Designers, where I work with the 3 of the best known prosthodontics in Costa Rica. This is part of the work that they do all days.